Hey guys, let's jump right on into today's video of viral TikTok recipes, and we're going to start with this creamy roasted tomato soup and grilled cheese, obviously, but this was absolutely amazing, and I even screwed up the recipe. I'll show that to you guys later, but it was still wonderful. Take whatever kind of tomatoes that you want. I have 3 pretty good sized ones here. A red pepper, don't skip on that. It does something really special to the soup. A whole head of garlic and an onion. You can also use a purple onion, red onion, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you. But go ahead and chop all of your produce down to not very tiny pieces. You want this all to roast for a while. You do not need to dice anything here. And then when it gets down to your garlic, you're going to roast this entirely separate. So you're going to cut the little top off just so you can start to see the cloves in there. Put it on some tin foil, cover it with olive oil, and seal up that tin foil to almost like a little packet. And you're going to roast that next to the vegetables in your oven, if I can speak today. Put everything into a roasting pan. You could do this on a cookie sheet or a roasting pan like this, but it does produce some liquid, so be prepared for that if you do use a more shallow dish. And then put olive oil over the top, salt and pepper. You can do other seasonings if you want. I kept it very simple because that is what the recipe did, but you could put oregano, Italian seasoning, anything. Then you're gonna roast this for about 45 minutes on 400 with the garlic in there. Pull that out and you just see how beautiful it is. It smells great. You're going to pinch every clove out of there into a food processor or a blender, whichever one you want to use, or you can use an immersion blender in your actual pot. I don't own one. So I put all my tomatoes, onions, everything in the blender with the garlic and just pureed this until there was nothing left and poured into the pot. This is where I screwed up. Into the pot, you just want to put a little bit of chicken broth to thin it out and some fresh basil. Had no fresh basil and used way too much chicken broth. And then about a half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Just heat this through and the soup is done. But oh man, it is absolutely delicious. And definitely do not skip on that red pepper in there because it does give it a little something special. And always crisp up your grilled cheese. That's what also helps make this phenomenal. The next recipe has over 50 million likes for this thing. It is a potato and chicken garlic parm dish type thing. You're going to take 5 russet potatoes. Normally you don't peel them. My kids won't eat it, so I did peel them. But dice them up, put them in a crock pot, put olive oil, salt, pepper, paprika, and onion powder on top of this. All of the exact portions will be down below so you know how much to use, but he does say you can also eyeball it. And then mix that up completely to get all the seasonings on the potatoes first. Then he specifies 2 tablespoons of chopped up garlic like this and mix that in well, and then dice up a pound, I did 1.5 pounds of chicken, dice it up, put on the top with the exact same seasonings that were on the potatoes, plus add about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Then you're going to take this dressing right here and put about 2/3 of the bottle just over the top. Now, if you are heat or spice adverse, this recipe is not for you because that bottle is spicy and it does not say that it is. I am very sensitive to heat and this was spicy to me, so just keep that in mind. When there's 30 minutes left, give it a good mix and then shred about 1/2 to 2/3 of a block of mozzarella, put it over the top, put the lid back on for the last 15 to 30 minutes, whatever you have on the timer, and then serve this up. You can serve it with whatever you want, broccoli, another vegetable, or just eat it like it is. This was so good, but the heat killed me. I had to cover it in ranch so I could eat it, but the flavor was so good. My husband went back for thirds. Leave it to TikTok to show a new way to make Kraft macaroni and cheese, the blue box stuff. No, you don't need the directions on the side. Take a big pot and 2 boxes of the macaroni noodles, then add 1 cup of milk. It specifies to use just like 2%, but use whatever milk you really want. And then 3 cups of water. No, your burner is not on yet. You don't have to do that. Once you do that, then you're going to salt and pepper this thing to taste, and then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter in there. Both of the sauce packets, the little cheese packets, it's going to look gross, just trust the process on this. And then about 1/2 cup to 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese as well. and start mixing. I ended up switching to a whisk because I just couldn't get the lumps out and it was driving me nuts. This will look disgusting. It will feel so wrong, but you need to bring it up to a boil, and then once you get it to a boil, cook it for only 8 to 10 minutes. But I'm telling you, it did something special to the macaroni and cheese. It tasted elevated boxed macaroni. You could still tell this was boxed macaroni and cheese straight out of the Kraft, but it did something special. It made the sauce a lot creamier and thicker. It did help. Time for the best recipe. This is the grinder sub. It is all over TikTok. Just look up grinder sandwich or grinder sub and you will find it. You just need a loaf of Italian bread or French bread. Cut that sucker in half and then start taking a little bit of the middle of the bread out. Don't go too crazy here, but just take some out to make room for all the toppings. Then you're gonna make a garlic butter. So you just need some softened butter, like half a stick to a full stick, garlic, Parmesan, some parsley, anything you really want to put in there. Put it on your bread, spread it all the way out. Crust to crust is a must. If you follow Food Network, you'll understand that reference. And then put that in your oven on about 350 for about 6 or 7 minutes. While it's in there, you're going to thinly slice some red onion and then take those thin slices and put them in ice water for about 5 minutes. It just kills them, makes them a little more easier to eat when they're raw. In a bowl, you're going to want mayo, however much you really want, red wine vinegar, Italian seasoning, or just straight oregano. I added banana peppers because they did, and it does make a difference to have these in here and not have them in here. So they're not hot, they're not spicy. I would definitely try them if you never have. They make a difference. Put all that in there, mix it up together, and then you're going to put your slices of red onion and then shredded iceberg lettuce. This was another specific thing because you're making the grinder salad is what they call this. Mix all that up and put it to the side. Once your bread comes out, put any kind of actual deli meats that you like. You're going for more like an Italian sub feel here. So I have salami, pepperoni, and ham. But again, you could put whatever you really want. And then I did sliced provolone because that is our preference. You can use shredded cheese. You can use anything. You can use white American. You can use mozzarella. Just put your cheese on there as the topping because you're going to put this back in the oven to kind of toast up the bread a little bit more, cook the meat a little bit, and melt that cheese. Once it comes out, put some thin sliced tomatoes across one side, and then that entire bowl of grinder salad. Oh, and I'm sorry, I added extra banana peppers on half of this to see if that also made a difference. It does. Add more banana peppers. It was delicious. But put all of the grinder salad on top of your tomatoes, and then you're just going to close this up like you would a normal sandwich. I had to move it because it was still on my baking tray, so I had to move it over to my cutting board real fast. And one girl did put Parmesan cheese over the top. I tried it. It didn't make any difference on that part. But then cut this into whatever size you want and just look at it. These are so good. We've had these 3 times since making these, and my husband already wants them again for lunch another day this week. They are so messy though. I will warn you, the liquid drips out all over the place, but my husband was just using it like a mop with his bread and eating every bit of it. If you don't want all the bread or you just want something a lot faster, let me introduce you to Sub in a Tub. This is a Jersey Mike knockoff, I believe, but the girl says put everything in one of these choppers. Your lettuce, put that sucker in there. Any tomatoes, and yes, I was having some trouble with my little chopper here. It was the first time I was using it. It didn't go too well at first, but I got the hang of it. Then put your onion in there, tomato through the chopper. Even your cheese and your deli meats, put that through the chopper too, because it will go in there and it will make everything just the most perfect, beautiful size. Any meats that you wanted when you did with the grinder or the cheese, you can put through here. I even put banana peppers in there as well. It was delicious, but anything that you would eat on that grinder, you could put in here, or any sub in general. And then it wanted some mayo in the bowl, however much you want. Red wine vinegar, olive oil, salt, pepper, and oregano is what I went with. But again, if it's something you order at the sub shop, throw it on in there too. If you want jalapenos, if you want green bell peppers, whatever, put it through there, put the lid back on and shake it up really, really good. And then the girl specified, this is a thing you eat with a spoon. So I made sure that I had a spoon on hand, but you can see just how mixed up and beautiful this is. I put a little too much mayo. I went a little heavy. I did go back and throw more lettuce in there to cut that, but it was so good. I want to end with something sweet, and that is exactly what I have here is the chocolate chip pumpkin cookies. I've made these with other things than the pumpkins, but it doesn't matter. Just get a 24 count of the cookie dough and then 1 pack of these seasonal sugar cookies from Pillsbury. Preheat your oven according to the package on the chocolate chip cookie dough. Make sure to space them out on the pan before you bake them. Put them in the oven for just 5 minutes for the chocolate chip cookie dough. Then you're going to take that out, and while it's still squishy, push down one of the pumpkins on top just slightly, and do this on all of them. Pop this back in the oven for all of 10 minutes, and when they come out, that is it. Just let them cool for a few minutes. They are so good. The texture is great. Something about the flavor combination of the two just work really well together. I've made this with the Christmas trees at Christmas time last year, and it still tasted just the same. So it doesn't have to be right now for fall or Halloween. You can do this again in December. They are absolutely delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up so I know to make more like it. Subscribe if you're new. All the recipes will be in the description box down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.